Hey everybody, it's Charlie and Nathan with Daily Motor. And since Nathan came into Southern California here to visit, I thought I would surprise him with not just one Ford Raptor product, but two. Not only two, but the most expensive and the least expensive ways to get into a Ford Raptor. Now, for those of you who are unaware, Ford launched the Raptor line back in the early 20-teens probably.
I think it was about
late 2000?
2010.
2010 or so with the F-150 Raptor. It came with the 5.4 Triton. It was sort of getting their feet wet in making a more intense and heavy-duty ready, high-speed performance off-road truck. But now here in 2026, this is what the Raptor line has come to in the top. Sporting the 5.2-liter supercharged V8 engine, making over 700 horsepower, and with some of the top-level suspension and performance characteristics. Not only is this truck incredibly fun on the street, off-road, whatever, but it wins races across Baja 1000s, any sort of off-road series. This truck is seriously competitive, and despite the new TRX coming out, I still think the best off-road truck possible. But sitting at nearly twice the price of this one, the Ford Ranger Raptor is, for most people, the actual real-world, usable, practical, but still very, very capable Raptor product. This one you're seeing at about $60,000, whereas that one just shy of $120,000. And despite being half the price and a good bit smaller, the Ranger Raptor is no slouch. We had this out in the desert last year. We towed with it. We had 2 motorcycles in the back, a ton of camping gear. It is also an incredibly capable truck. Our friend Chris over at the Tofers owned one for a number of years and still loves it. He's put some 35s on there, taken it across the country. It has been one of his favorite vehicles, probably a personal car that he's owned just about the longest. And it's not hard to see why. This one has a 3-liter twin turbocharged EcoBoost V6, making only about 400 horsepower, whereas that one well over 700, but still some really incredible Fox shock technology and a usable package with nearly the same amount of payload, even if you can't tow quite as much. So Nathan and I are going to get saddled up here. We're going to drive about 2.5 hours away out on the highway to Afton Canyon. We're going to go mess around in Razor VRA, where we've taken this truck before and this truck, but never together. So we are excited to get out there. However, it's not exactly the most ideal time to be out in the desert because high temperatures will probably already be above 100 by the time we get there this morning and are possibly going to crest about 110. So we're going to have to be a little careful, and we're not going to want to be doing a ton of chatting out there. So let's do a quick look over the trucks here while they're still clean and Nathan and I are not sweating. So this is your first time in front of a Ranger Raptor, or in front of a Raptor R, and then driving a Ranger Raptor. So what are your first impressions sort of visually and kind of looking around the trucks?
Visually, they're both very striking. I love the looks of them. The interiors are very well put together, very refined, and they look very cool with all their orange accenting. Is it orange or red? What do you think?
I think it's orange. Yeah, it's a reddish orange. But you're right. It's a nice kind of, probably like a fake leather, like sort of synthetic sort of deal. Yeah. Good bolstering, which we're going to appreciate out there. Power adjust seats here, lumbar support. The back seats, doors open wide enough. More room back here than a Tacoma. And I've been able to put the rear-facing car seat back here so far this week. And yeah, we've got some things kind of haphazardly loaded. Probably want to rearrange some stuff before we're jumping off-road. But still a usable little package. And then in the bed, just about a 5-foot bed, but a good amount of payload, about 1,250 pounds, I think, as you're seeing it.
Here's a question. In your off-roading experience, what do you think of these running boards?
Fortunately, they shouldn't be too much of an issue. They can hold up the weight of the truck, I think, if you were to kind of like get up on there. And you'd rather have the running board hit or the slider hit than something underneath the truck, you know what I mean?
And they seem to be at a decent height to where it actually helps you getting in. You know, some trucks,
yeah,
they have really goofy running boards where they don't actually help with anything. They just kind of get in the way.
Right. I don't know how much we're going to air down today, mostly because I just don't want to be airing up, but we'll see how these do. These are 33s.
Here's something interesting I just noticed. The hitch kind of sticks out almost like it's a pre-production vehicle.
It does stick out quite a good bit. Probably makes it easier to not be hitting things in there and stuff.
Yeah.
Good bed liner in here. Unfortunately, not going to be putting the bed to too much use, but we've got a wall-style outlet, so you could run that if you needed to power some things.
And also, unfortunately, not very many easy places to get up in because you step up here and you've got this in the way. You might catch your foot on that.
Right, that's true. The Ranger, perfectly approachable, practical package that's usable in the real world, but also capable off-road. But then we move to the King. 37-inch tires, full-size interior, some of the top shocks you can get. Go ahead and hop on in, Nathan.
Right away, I'm seeing very similar running boards.
Yep. Yeah, you see a lot of similarities to the DNA, like you would know immediately.
First thing I've never been in one of these before. The first thing I noticed is the door panel. Look at how nice this door panel is.
Yeah.
We've got nice carbon fiber, a really nice feeling plastic, Alcantara. I don't know if it's real or not.
Probably.
Leather. How much is this?
$117,000.
So for $117,000, you'd expect some nice materials, and you certainly do get them. On the seat is so comfortable.
Yep. Full disclosure, Nathan is an F-150 owner, no bias.
I'm an F-150 owner of an F-150 that also has Alcantara.
Yeah. We do have the cheeseburger stand.
The cheeseburger stand.
You can flip the thing open and make it flat. You have to turn the truck on.
All the way on?
No, just accessory. Fold the shifter down. Yep.
How long do you think that's? It already does not. It's not that confidence inspiring.
And then there you go, your cheeseburger.
A cheeseburger. Yep. You could set your phone up or something. Watch some. Ooh, you know what I just noticed?
What?
This little shelf here.
Allegedly.
Well, I'm not saying while driving, but if you were,
not.
Yeah. And the screen right away looks very nice.
Yep.
Very good quality. It feels very nice to touch.
And you still get all of your physical controls too.
See, in my truck, which is a 2013 F-150, it's got cooled seats, but it's in the infotainment. It's very frustrating because when your infotainment system decides to do an update all of a sudden, you can't access anything.
Yep, well, enjoy that in the Ranger. It's in the screen for the Ranger too.
Oh.
And then of course, this being an F-150, you have oodles of space in the back. So if you're putting family back here, they've got plenty of space. Let's have Nathan hop up in there to just kind of give you a visual of how much space is in here.
Now this is one of my favorite things about full-size trucks compared to mid-size trucks, and why typically I prefer full-size trucks. You're already getting a big truck, you might as well get a big cab, or a shorter cab and a giant bed.
Right. Because whether it's full-size adults back here who are comfortable,
look at
or
the space,
kids with car seats, or just kids kicking their legs or anything like that.
And another thing I love, my F-150 has this too.
Just pull it up. Yep, and then look at that.
Look at all that space.
Ton of space, and you could flip this up if you wanted a little bit of a partition.
And just for kind of an example of just how much space this is.
Yeah.
If you get stuck in the desert.
Sleep. Yep. Plus you got heated seats, power points back here, wall style outlet, multiple cup holders, tons of room. And then this is actually kind of nice. We've got a tonneau cover on the back of this, so if we need anything protected from the sand, we can do that. Power up and down.
They have emergency releases in this now.
Yeah, in case the kid is kept back there.
You can't kidnap people in here.
Yep. And we've got the old man step.
You know what I've heard from people, because when you're young, it's easy to joke about this stuff and say, why would you need that? But older people, I guess, really, really love this.
No, it's great. I even use it when I'm just loading up gear or whatever, getting in and out. You know, camping gear, getting all the way in the back. Only one bed size with the Raptor R, 5.5 feet. So you really only have a slightly longer bed than the Ranger, but it is wider. It does have more features. Got the lights, storage compartments, and the power outlet. The other thing that I do have to say about the F-150 compared to the Ranger is I don't mind the Ranger looks, but I love the F-150 looks.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I don't think the Ranger is ugly, but it's just fine. Whereas when I see an F-150 Raptor, especially the R, I mean, it's just sweet.
I think all F-150s have a really good look to them. The Rangers, they look good, but they don't blow me away.
Yeah. What do you think of the sticker packages on both of these? You like them, or you think they're too much?
I like them. I know a lot of people like to take them off, but I think Ford did a good job.
Nice. Well, you about ready to get rolling?
Yep.
Quick break for our video sponsor, LastFit. LastFit has been supplying floor liners for just about all of our test vehicles. They help keep it clean, and they'll help keep your personal vehicles clean and tidy as well. We got a set of the LastFit liners here in the Ranger Raptor, and you can see they're keeping the door sill nice and clean, coming out and fitting right in the factory plugs, going well up underneath the pedals, keeping all the sand that we're getting in the desert out of there. keeping the dead pedal covered as well. If you live anywhere with snow, sleet, slush, mud, getting in and out of your truck regularly, you're gonna want a set of heavy duty liners. And these last fit liners are 3D measured, laser cut, this nice flexible but durable TPU material. You can really see the advantages in the back on the Ranger. You can see how nicely they come right along the sill here. Kind of keep all the gunk and mud and dirt, slush, everything held together in this tray. Nice good bit of siping right there to keep everything together. Coming up over the hump and then going over to the other side. And of course you got them over to the passenger side as well. We've been trusting Last Fit with coverage for a bunch of our vehicles, and we think they'll work well for your car as well. So use the code DailyMotor, get yourself a discount. Use the link below to purchase. Big shout out to Last Fit. We actually don't have them in the F-150 this time, but we did last time we're out here in the F-150, and they worked great on that too. Thanks for supporting the video, and go support Daily Motor by getting yourself some mats. If you're a regular viewer of Daily Motor, then it's not news to you that I love the F-150. And getting back in the driver's seat, even of a high performance one like this, it's no surprise why. This thing is so comfortable, it's so quiet, even with these 37-inch KO3s and a supercharged V8. When you're just cruising on the highway, it settles right down, so nice and quiet, smooth, comfortable. I've got buttons where I want them, I've got tons of places to put things, a great infotainment screen that's built nicely into the dash, good functional gauge cluster that admittedly I don't love the font of and the colors, but all things considered, very nice and usable. This is one of the most dialed in passenger vehicles on the market, and I love it. I mean, I've actually been in trucks for the last few weeks. I was in the Silverado EV, which I loved. I was in the Dodge Ram, it's not a Dodge, I'm sorry, the Ram 1500 Tungsten, didn't care for it. And then this, absolutely love it. So, just a great functional interior, so well thought out, and so nice to be in. This one doesn't have Blue Cruise, but it does have the F-150's very good active lane keeping, which means as long as I keep some hands on the wheel, it's keeping itself nicely in the middle of the lanes and driving me comfortably. Adaptive cruise working well. Fuel's being sucked down at the rate of 13.4 miles per gallon. We towed with the F-150 Raptor R earlier this year. Did fantastic, no big surprise there. And yeah, no surprise that we're going along fine here. Uncomfortably, it always says the oil temp's a little high. Let's see if I can bring up a full Raptor information screen here. Transmission temp up at 200. Engine oil temp 224. Okay, so that just seems a little high for just cruising on the highway, but maybe it's a little more efficient or something, I don't know. Either way, we'll keep an eye on it when we're out in the desert.
Here is a Daily Motor top tip. You do not want to put the Ranger Raptor into off-road mode while you are on the highway, because when you do, it puts it in four-wheel drive, downshifts, and cancels your cruise control, and all of a sudden, all hell is broken loose to go back into normal mode. It shifts it back out of four-wheel drive, and you have to go back into normal. What are you... There, normal. Now I gotta pay attention. It's getting out of four-wheel drive, it's back in two-wheel drive, resume your cruise control. Don't do that, because when it first did it, I thought the world was ending.
Coming up to Afton Canyon here soon. We are running in the Ranger now. Now Nathan wasn't a huge fan of the interior of the Ranger. However, and I get some of his complaints. There's definitely some things about it that are a little bit cheaper. Yeah, that's kind of tough to adjust. You know, harder plastics, a simpler layout. But again, when you're talking nearly half the price of that truck, it is a bit hard to to harp on this for being a little bit more budget, because ultimately with the amount of performance that this truck has, I'm okay with having some of the more basic and maybe not as nice and intuitive sort of layout as the expensive truck. However, I will agree with him that there are elements of the Ranger that are just more frustrating, not even just than the F-150, but than its competitors, its peers in the mid-sized truck class, and just your average everyday truck or car. This infotainment system doesn't work nearly as well as the horizontal systems in the Fords. I think that's Sync 4. I don't know what this one's considered, but It's not as intuitive, it's more difficult to learn, it's not as responsive, and it's not as easy to use. Not to mention, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto look better on a horizontal layout. This truck doesn't have ventilated seats, and even the heated seats you have to control here from the infotainment, which is not as nice as just having a button. I did make a mistake last time we had the Ranger Raptor. I said it didn't have a heated steering wheel, but again, that's because the controls are buried into the screen. What else? General layout and comfort, and the shifter, not as comfortable, not as nice to use as the bigger truck and as some of the other trucks. Fortunately though, you do still get the great digital gauge cluster here that has a ton of customization, ton of information that you can see, and we're going to be looking forward to using that here once we get off-road. We have made it through 2.5 hours of highway, and we'll do more of a full recap on sort of our interior experiences with both trucks near the end, because it's already well over 100 degrees and we're standing in the sun, and we're really excited to have these trucks out here in the sand. But impressed by how quiet they were, how comfortable they were. Interior definitely nicer on the F-150, better experience, but you'd kind of hope that for a truck that costs twice as much.
Exactly, and a truck that's bigger and has, you know, more places to put insulation and all that.
Right.
What did you think of the droniness of the exhaust on the Ranger Raptor? Did it
I noticed it more than the F-150, but in quiet mode I didn't mind it.
I didn't notice any in quiet mode on the F-150. I was kind of surprised.
No, every time I'm on the highway in the Raptor, I'm so surprised that you don't really hear the big tires and you don't really hear the exhaust. Yep. It's really impressive.
And in the Ranger too, you don't hear the tires either.
Yeah, just a little bit, and really not too noticeable at all. So here we are. The trucks are clean. They're in a color called Avalanche, which is kind of silly for being in the desert, but it's kind of cute. So Nathan's going to start in the F-150. I'm going to start in the Ranger, and we're going to head through Afton Canyon, which they call the Grand Canyon of the Mojave. Now, the last time I was in here with cars, the Topher got a flat tire in a G-Wagon, but the Raptor made it unscathed. So hopefully the same case today. Now, we have aired down to 37 PSI, which is not as low as you'd want to go if you were really spending all day off-road, but it's just about as low as I'm comfortable going at hot tire pressures so that we can get back on the highway later today and cruise on the highway without damaging our tires until we get to somewhere that isn't in triple-digit Fahrenheit temps. You ready to go? Yep. Let's do it. All right, we are out here in Razor VRA, and we're just going to do a little bit of scouting together in the F-150, and then we'll split back up. So let's go full Baja mode again. Make sure. Okay. Let's reset. And then advanced track off. And ventilated seats. It's nice how in Baja mode you get the center camera. When you're sand driving, you just always want to have kind of almost like you're a skier. You almost want to be going kind of back and forth so that you can always be moving and always have a game plan of where you're going to go next. And then when you crest dunes, you kind of want to come up over like that so that you can pull over. You never want to shoot right over if you can avoid it. You want to kind of come at an crossover like that. I kind of have to recalibrate myself being out here because the last time I was in side-by-sides and the capabilities of those are just so different. This truck is about as close as you can get to a side-by-side, but still a lot heavier. Man, it is funny getting back in the F-150 because the shocks, it takes the bumps smoother, but the Ranger feels more nimble, just being so much smaller. Nathan hasn't been in the Ranger yet off-road, but it's a different feel.
That's when you kept getting so far ahead of me, and I'm like, something must be different about that, because like I feel like I'm pushing this thing as fast as I'm comfortable pushing it.
Right. course, the big part is just a whole foot full of power, get you through a lot. Mojave sandboard, that's what they call this. Because up top, oh, just past it, up top here, they keep snowboards in this coffin. Snowboards and sleds in case you want to slide down the hill. Ready?
Oh man.
This is sort of that double one. That's right. I think we need to go down to that. Nice and easy right here. And then come up over. Momentum down to the side. Just when you're in the sand, you don't want to fight momentum. Baja truck. Nice catch. Pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Alright, we'll let this truck cool down a little bit and do a quick run.
Yeah, it's pretty hot again.
Yeah, and the Ranger. That is something we noticed, Nathan. Well, I guess it's only at 239 again. That's what it got coming up the mountain. Yeah, it just feels so much smaller.
So much better over the bumps already. Look at that traction in the air.
Yeah, you're right. We were full airborne for a minute there. Oh, I probably want to fix that. Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
Probably open that too and see what it looks like.
What we'll actually do is we'll crest up and over the dune in the reverse track of where we did in the Raptor. So, right there. Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, the Ranger feels more at home out here
Yeah.
than the F-150. I mean, it's like 800 pounds lighter, smaller wheelbase, and just a little bit more playful. Oh. Oh. What was that? Your head just went.
Yeah.
Sorry. Feeling a lack of power. My foot's to the floor. It's doing it, just didn't do it with as much confidence as the F-150. So this happened to the tonneau cover. So something to keep in mind if you plan on getting air with your F-150 Raptor R.
All right, time to follow him. I'm terrified of driving on the dunes. Go, power, power. Oh, this is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Oh my God. Oh man, I've never driven on dunes before. Holy cow! And bejeezies. Getting up this one over here. Please don't hit these rocks. Go! Don't get stuck. Go, 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 go. Oh, hopefully I clear this rock. Hopefully I clear this rock. Oh, I just cleared that rock. Oh, there's more rocks. Oh my goodness. Look at this dune. All right, here we go. Don't be scared. 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 I'm gonna go over here a little bit. Holy cow. Don't forget to shift. Holy shit. Oh man. Go, 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 go. Come on, Ranger Raptor. Okay, this isn't so bad. Where is he going? Oh, he's having fun. And I'm here crapping myself. Absolutely, what the hell? Go this way, go this way, go this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Follow his tracks, follow his tracks. This is more like it. This is much easier to get through these trails than the F-150 Raptor R. That is apparent right away. This makes a nice noise. Woo! Yeah, this is so much fun through here. So much more fun compared to the F-150. He is a much better driver than me, yet I can keep up with him all day in this thing. Oh, I gotta not get stuck in here. Hopefully I don't eat my words. Don't get stuck, don't get stuck. First gear, don't get stuck, don't get stuck. First gear. Yum. All right. This feels much more nimble, much faster on the narrower trails like this with the larger undulations. Look how much he's bouncing up and down, and I can go past him if I wanted. Here. Oh man, this thing is pulling 60 miles an hour on the salt lake bed thing. Oh yeah. This is where Raptors absolutely shine. What is this stuff? Oh, oh! Go, go! Ah. Whoa. Oh, jeez. Oh, ooh. Well, like I said, didn't take much brain power to figure out what was going to win. But it's still fun.
Pretty surprising out here how much larger and more cumbersome the F-150 feels. I mean, obviously, if you're on a good section, this thing is an absolute rocket ship. It's fun. It's goofy and exciting and crazy capable. It's no secret that this truck is amazing, incredibly capable. But for most people, the way that the Ranger Raptor kind of feels and acts with the lighter weight and the shorter wheelbase and just kind of being generally a little bit more approachable, I'm surprised that we actually like that truck as much as we do out here in an environment that's supposed to be so tailor fit for the F-150 Raptor R. I mean, I should be opening it up right here. And don't get me wrong, it is doing it. It is incredibly capable. But I had a lot of fun in the Ranger as well. And I think Nathan is too.
Oh, this is so much fun. Brap, brap, brap. It's amazing how well these take the bumps. It's amazing that you can do this at all. It's amazing that these things exist. And when you're out here doing it, that's when the price tag starts to make sense. That's when you realize where the development goes and how much engineering goes into these vehicles. The fact that they could do this pretty much all day, smashing these. Oh, that looked big. That looks big. This is hands down one of the coolest things I've ever done. '82 on a dry lake bed. Unbelievable. It's so flat.
It's such a novel concept to me to think of all the human beings who have traversed this trail. People walking, people on horseback, people on buggies, people on old jalopies, jeeps, military vehicles, whatever it be. And then here we are. We're in trucks with air conditioning. It's a cool 72 degrees in here. My butt is having cold air blown at it. We are floating on literal tubes of air that are further dampened by oil and spring rate. And computers are mathematically calculating how best to make it comfortable for me in here. It's so wild. And I totally get why 50 years ago there was so much science fiction and people thinking we were gonna have flying cars and everything like that, because when you just think of how different the world is compared to what it was, the sky really didn't seem like any limit. And now, I mean, I know we're still a little ways out from that crazy technology, but you still got to take a step back and appreciate what we're able to do. I mean, Nathan and I talked about this trip, and I was like, I mean, it's probably not the best idea for us to be going out and doing this trail in the middle of July, but we chose to do it. And this is kind of one of the first times in history that you can go out, especially from a relative sense, history, go out and conquer nature so defiantly like this. Is it a bit hubris? Yeah, totally. But when you have a truck like this, or like that, it is kind of, you're essentially purchasing hubris. Just as is the case with on-road performance vehicles, so many owners will not push their off-road vehicles anywhere close to their capabilities. And getting out here with the Ranger Raptor and using all the different drive modes is such a cool example of how much work went into even this more baby Raptor and just how capable it is. Earlier when Nathan and I were making our way through up to the VRA, I didn't have a chance to film it, but I was coming up a section of trail that was particularly steep, and I wasn't using the one pedal trail assist, and I actually was starting to slip down the hill when I was just powering it up here in rock crawl mode. So I came to a stop, I went into our off-road screen, which I guess is gone, and used the trail one pedal control here so you can see. I come to a stop, press this, set the speed, can go all the way down to 1 mile per hour in the Ranger Raptor, all the way up to, I don't know, probably like 5 or 6 or so, and then it's like off-road cruise control. This thing just makes its way, it provides power exactly where it's needed. We don't have the front differential locked, but we have the rear here in rock crawl mode, and just moseys its way up. And it also works for coming back down. It'll modulate each brake in order to bring you down steep inclines safely. I guess that would be a decline, depending on how you look at it. So this isn't a particularly difficult climb or anything like that, but it's very nice to know, as I was in the situation earlier, that if you get yourself in a situation where it's kind of all or nothing to make the climb work, there's a good chance your Trail 1 pedal assist will do it. And unlike the old Tacoma systems or anything, it's silent. I mean, you barely hear it working. Also, I love that there is a parking sensor button right here. That annoyed me so much when I was off-roading with the Tundra and the Tacoma that I kept getting the parking beepers going. I'd turn them off, and then they would come back on. And I'd have to do it somewhere in the screen, kind of bury myself in there. It was very surprising to me that this Toyota's, the off-road technology and the information in the screens and everything was just not there. I love how in this truck it shows you everything you want to know. Altitude, compass, angles, temperatures of everything. Very, very nice. Another advantage of having so many forward gears is that when you're driving in low range like this, you got a lot of gears to shift through. Not singing the song of its people.
I drove the F-150 Raptor quite a bit earlier, but I haven't filmed with it yet, so I will do that now. First thing I noticed right away is going over these bumps, it does jar you more than the Ranger Raptor. And you have to utilize the camera more, which this camera is awesome. But you have to utilize it more because it's so much harder to see what's in front of you because of the... Yeah, he's having a much more fun time, or maybe not fun, but an easier time on these trails because I am having to pay so much more attention to what I am doing because I am so much bigger. I have to watch out more for rocks. Now here's where the Raptor really shines, and it's mainly just because it's an F-150, but also the fact it has a supercharged V8, is once you get on paved roads, it is a much more pleasant experience. Oh, here we go. No more rocks. Alright, I'm going to put it into Baja mode. There we go. Now we can open her up a little bit. And of course on the F-150 you get the head-up display, which is nice. So you can see a lot more clearly. Oh man, it's so fast, and that power comes on like that with the supercharger compared to the Ranger's twin turbos that take a second to spool up. The Raptor R is definitely a bit more of a thrilling experience, because once you open it up and get into sections like this, it pulls like crazy. Even on the slippery surface, it just pulls and pulls. Right here, I'm going to demonstrate. Go to Features, Trail Turn Assist. Trail Turn Assist on. So, I'm going to take this tight corner. Yeah, locks the inside wheel. Made it super easy to get around there, then just turn it off. Back to the camera, and off we go. This is such a interesting experience because I'm off-roading in 109 degree weather. It was 118 earlier, but I've got my cooled seat, I got my air conditioning, I'm comfortable, I'm not roasting. Oh boy. Yeah, this section's definitely more craggy. I should probably pay attention and not smash any rocks. And with the crawl control, I can take over whenever, which is nice. And then I can resume it basically just like normal cruise control. So I'll speed it up through this section. You can hear that. Is the exhaust in Baja mode? No, it's in sport mode. Yeah, let's put it in Baja mode. You can hear that exhaust while we're in low range. Alright. What happens up here? What happens here? Oh my goodness. Got a little bit of a bump. Oh. Holy cow, where are we?
We ended up having to cut our route a little bit short due to the Ranger Raptor's fuel capacity. We actually are on E, or off-road E at least. We hit a quarter tank, estimating about 50 miles left of range. Now, it's entirely possible that we could have taken it easier, especially with this smoother section of trail, and stretched that fuel further than that, probably made it closer, I don't know, about 100 miles, but maybe 60 or 70. However, on a day like this, I think, we don't need to push our luck too much. We would have been able to see a little bit more of the National Preserve here and then do a little bit of a different highway on the way home, but, yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't really looking to push the limit here. I reset the fuel economy 5 miles ago just to kind of see what we have been getting here off-road, and looking at about 13. And that's only cruising, I guess I've been kind of slowing down like this for these ruts and then speeding back up and slowing down. But yeah, just kind of the nature of the beast when you got an off-road truck like this. But the F-150 back there is still at 44% in Baja mode, so just under half. Much larger fuel tank in there, so despite it sucking more fuel, it is got a little bit more range. But a road like this where it kind of smooths out and you're just sort of putzing along, I just got it in two-wheel drive, I'm chilling, maybe hit some washouts like that, the truck takes it nice. But, it just, right here, oh, woo, see, even that, shocks took it so well. Such a great truck for this type of environment. And everything just feels tighter here in the Ranger. It, whether it's at the bumps like that, or it's kind of the bigger sections, everything feels more cumbersome and like more work off-road in the F-150. And I didn't expect that. I didn't expect this to be the little gem that it is. And it's funny because I've had both of these trucks off-road in the same environments, but having them together really brings out both their similarities and their differences. Got a great section of Joshua Tree Forest here. Fortunately, nobody has burned this one down. It was a really bad fire a while back over to the east of us here that burned down a lot of Joshua trees. So, pretty cool to be able to see them here.
Coming to the end of our off-road adventure, I want to do a little experiment where I see how quiet I could make the F-150 Raptor R while I am off-roading. So let's get it in its highest gear. I've got the exhaust set to quiet mode. and it is amazingly quiet. The loudest thing is probably the fan going. It is amazing that you can have an off-road experience like this, but still have it be so quiet. And in a lot of ways, that's what that giant price tag gets you. It gets you a complete package of nearly unmatched off-road capability and refinement, comfort, and durability. Look at this stuff. We are just absolutely flying over this stuff. And I could continue to talk. I continue to have a, nice conversation. I could even probably whisper. That's how quiet it is. A little bit of off-roading ASMR. I'm going 52 miles an hour also. Let's see. 60 miles an hour flying over that stuff. That is absolutely crazy. It's crazy to think you can be flying along 60 miles an hour. Oh, this looks a little rough. Whoa. Whoa, big bump, big bump. Whoa! Got a little bit of air there. This thing says 39 miles till empty, so we're trying to take a quicker route, and we're going through this ranch that is pretty scary, spooky. But this does give me another opportunity to show kind of just how capable these vehicles are. It's just so crazy out here. You look at the scenery, look at the Joshua trees. Ugh. This thing, it takes the big bumps so much better than the F-150 Raptor. The F-150 Raptor is definitely smoother with this type of just long, straight, not as undulated, not as many big bumps. But when you hit the big bumps, this is much more pleasant to be in. Going back and forth between the F-150 and the Ranger, another thing I noticed is the F-150 is just more comfortable. It's more relaxing to do this type of straight line, smoother type of bajaing. Also, when the trail's wider and you're not going through tight turns, you definitely notice you're a lot more insulated in the F-150 Raptor. The Ranger Raptor still feels more nimble though. You can't get away from that size. Like, I'm gonna go through these bushes here. It's so much more fun to do that type of stuff with it. You can hit little hills like that. So for the final thoughts, both of these trucks are unbelievably capable. They are very good fun, and in a lot of ways, they're almost a really good value. I mean, they are very expensive. There's no getting around that. But if you do have the money to spend on trucks like this, both of these are an incredible value. They're almost engineering masterpieces. What we've been doing today has been so brutal, pretty technical, and even with inexperienced drivers like myself when it comes to off-road driving, they have shined and they have done incredibly well. You can't go wrong with either one, but if you want crazy power and an amazing V8 sound, you have to spend double, but you get all that with the Raptor R. If you want something that's more nimble, something that's smaller, maybe you just need one vehicle and have less space in your garage or something, the Ranger Raptor is going to do everything exceptionally. Where the Raptor R is going to do better is on the highway, and like I was saying back there, and wider, flatter, straighter sections that have less bigger bumps. But this would be more fun, say, in the woods and on tighter, more technical trails. When the trail gets tighter, and if you want to toss the vehicle around more, this is definitely the more fun option. And like I said, it would be cool if Ford would maybe shove a 5-liter V8 in this, or lighten it up and to give us an R version. That would be pretty sweet.
We are back the next day. The trucks have been cleaned, and it's like nothing ever happened. except for the fact that Nathan and I are forever changed on how impressive these trucks are when you put them in their natural environment. It's one thing to watch or to hear about or to read about what these trucks are capable of, but when you're out there on the dune and you're feeling it slip and slide and literally get airborne in the case of the F-150, land, take it, and keep on going. Yeah. I mean, it's really, really cool.
These things are absolute marvels of engineering.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it makes you realize what goes into the big price tag.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously, because it's so easy to write these trucks off. It's just, oh, you know, who's going to pay that much and everything. But if you are somebody who legitimately wants to go and do what we did, or even do maybe 6/10 of what we did, but do it regularly, you know, go out camping, go out regularly, you know, be able to go quickly down trails and get places and stuff. You don't have to be jumping your personal truck to want to go out there and enjoy what the world has to offer.
The other thing I realized is we weren't even getting close to the max capabilities of these trucks.
That's true. Yeah, you think we're doing such intense stuff, but then you realize, like Nathan said, yeah, they could really even do so much more. And I think kind of on that vein, that's where the Ranger Raptor was so impressive, because I've known that this is a very capable truck, and I've known this is a very capable truck, but to have them together and to just see how this was able to keep up so well, and honestly, actually end up being Nathan's and my favorite off-road. It was really cool.
Well, there are the times in the videos that you guys saw where whoever was in the Ranger Raptor was either ahead or always right behind the F-150 Raptor.
Yeah. No, I thought it would just be one of those things where, yeah, obviously you'd rather have the Ranger when it's tighter and twistier and everything for obvious space reasons. But between the shock tuning, the wheelbase, and the general tightness and feel of the truck and the lighter weight, this was actually the truck we preferred to be in at less than 45 miles per hour. Now, when a big opening came, it was awesome to unleash 740 horsepower and listen to this thing scream. And don't get me wrong, when you're going faster, the ability for the Fox Live Valve shocks to really take everything is very impressive. And I do know that if we had let out another 10 or 15 PSI out of these tires, it would have squished everything down, and I think the F-150 would have been that much more in its element. But kind of to Nathan's point a little bit ago, you have to be so bold and confident to be fully taking advantage of what this thing is capable of, whereas I think the Ranger actually is more approachable and capable for an everyman sort of person, such as ourselves.
The other thing I found is the Ranger felt a lot more connected to the trail, whereas the F-150 felt a lot more insulated, which when you wanted to be insulated was great. But when things got twisty or you wanted to have more fun, the Ranger really felt more alive.
Yeah, 100%. It also kind of reminded both of us that the normal Raptor exists. For about $81,000, which is closer to the price of this than it is to this, you can get nearly the capabilities of this truck. It's going to come on smaller tires, but you get essentially the same shocks, you get essentially the same overall capabilities, and most importantly, as we're going to talk about here in a moment, you get the same usable interior space, exterior space, and capacities and everything of an F-150, but it just doesn't sound quite as good. But other than that, you get to save a lot of money. And you can get the 37 package on the F-150 Raptor and then pretty much have the same package as this, just minus the noise. And I will admit, actually, for some of that cost, this gets all of the interior features, whereas the base Raptor I don't think has ventilated seats and some of the top level things that this comes with standard. But either way, for $25,000 more or so, getting an F-150 Raptor versus the Ranger Raptor, that might be where Nathan and I would honestly end up, because as much as we liked the Ranger off-road, we both agreed we preferred to be in the F-150 for the highway section. And even you were saying if you were going to live with the truck, you would pick an F-150 just because of how much more usable this package is.
More usable, and there were some things infotainment-wise and functionality-wise with the Ranger. And also just my personal bias, I prefer full-size trucks over mid-size trucks for living day-to-day.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you found this a bit useful if you're considering the Raptor market. But as much as the King Raptor is really, really cool, and I absolutely love all the time I get in this truck, I think the normal Ranger Raptor at the bottom of the Raptor price point is actually the better value and pretty darn cool. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was in shadow of this. Any last thoughts?
Nope.
All right, well, thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on either of these trucks, we've got plenty of videos on both. Thanks to Nathan for driving across the country to come do this. And we will see you on the next one. I'm Charlie and Nathan from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.